Can you tell us a little bit about CloudSigma and your turnkey offering for service providers? What are the business benefits for your partners and their customers?
Sure. So what we offer is kind of unique at the moment in the market. We looked at the market. We're a service provider, so we actually have our own cloud locations. That's how we started back in 2008. Yep. So we have more than 10 years experience running. We started in the public cloud, and then we expanded into other segments. And what came out of that was a solution that we partner with service providers around the world. So what we found was that they were building their own clouds, but they were struggling to run them and compete with the hyperscalers. And at the same time, we wanted to build a global network of cloud locations. So we came up with this model called Cloud as a Service. So what we do is we partner with service providers. We offer a full turnkey solution, completely outsourced, so there's absolutely no labor costs on their part. And we manage the cloud for them. We have a unified infrastructure deployment, which means you can run private dedicated, virtual private cloud, public, all on a unified infrastructure backend, which of course is HPE Gen 10 with GreenLake. So it gives you a full OpEx model. And from that, you can have full spectrum infrastructure delivery across. So it doesn't matter whether the customer wants public cloud, private, virtual private, hybrid, all of that runs off the same racks basically that we're able to deliver. So it's extremely efficient. And you combine that with the fact that you don't have any operational costs at all in terms of running the solution. We're running the operations, the support desk, everything else. So it gives you a fast time to market, low execution risk, and a high service quality. So you get all of those things packaged in as part of that partnership. So we build up that network. We have now over 15 locations worldwide. We have global operations centers that follow the sun, that manage all those customer deployments. And really the benefit is that it gives the partner the ability to concentrate on what their strengths are, which is understanding the customer requirements, building service offerings on top of that infrastructure layer that we're delivering to them. And so we have seen really a lot of success with service providers who have been adopting this model, many of whom have previously had their own cloud offerings, but the model hasn't really worked very well for them, or it's been below their expectations in terms of driving the revenue and the profits that they want.
Great. There's some very good points. I know that we've seen some great success with service providers that have moved from one platform to the CloudSigma one, and they've found it a fantastic journey and really finding great success with that. So my second question to you is, so service providers love to design and build cloud services themselves. So how do you win their technologists' heart? Great question.
Sure. They do, and as I said, that model hasn't necessarily worked that well for them always. So I think we have a lot of experience in coming into service providers that have an existing legacy solution that they're wanting to improve the model of. So what we do is we look at what they have internally in partnership with them, and what we can offer, and then we help them redeploy those resources so they can leverage them on top of the new platform. So the idea is they get the better operational model. So they're essentially like shedding some of those tasks which are maybe not optimal for them to be doing, and at the same time they're then focusing on other tasks which they're much better at doing. So our partners operate in many different markets that I really frankly have no idea about, to be honest. I mean, I'm not the right person to sell cloud in Saudi Arabia. We have our service provider there, and they do very well at selling our product in combination with their service offerings in Saudi Arabia. So the idea is that we work with them to focus on those strengths. So actually, it's not a case that they're sacking their cloud team if they're partnering with CloudSigma. It's the opposite. What they're doing is they're then allowing those people to do more of what they're best at. And this is the kind of winning combination. And that's what we see in the different partners. And as I said, 80% of our partners had existing clouds, and then they've, in some cases, decided to shutter them, or sometimes they've said, okay, we'll add CloudSigma as another option to kind of increase, the conversion rate of cloud leads. But most of them have eventually kind of consolidated onto the CloudSigma platform because of the margin. They just get much higher gross margin on our platform, and because we've got a great relationship with HPE, we know how to buy hardware efficiently. Maybe the HPEs are not so happy about that, but we get higher growth, and that allows us to have a competitive platform where they can literally they can compete on price, but also if you look on service quality with the hyperscalers, and that's a really important part.
Excellent. Yeah, so some really good point to, being able to free up those resources within their teams to actually focus on where they're going to be able to add value. So not really stripping away from anything, but actually taking what they don't need to do and allowing them to focus on, what their strengths are and build their business that way. So another question to you. So we know that the hyperscalers have a massive global footprint. So how do you differentiate yourselves and address global requirements?
Sure. So there's two parts to that. The first is most of our service providers are regional. What we've done is we've created our network. So if they choose to participate in that, they're part of a global network. So we have partners, for example, we have a partner in, let's say, Australia. We also have a partner in the Philippines, in Japan. So there's a lot of cross business between, for example, APAC. And they will have customers in Japan that want to deploy capacity in the Philippines, and likewise Australia, Philippines, Australia, etc. And so basically, with our platform, they have a unified ability to deploy capacity for their customers in any CloudSigma-driven location worldwide. So it's kind of like a meta network. Yeah. So that gives a regional service provider a global footprint, or at least a global ability to deploy. And then we have a revenue share program that works between the partners. So that helps them project beyond their kind of geographic restrictions. And then on the other side, in terms of differentiation, I think it comes down to things like service quality, support, those kind of things which you don't get from the hyperscalers. I mean, unless you're absolutely massive, you're not really going to get a very intensive support from a hyperscaler. It's just they can't do it. So that's a big differentiator. It's the number one reason why customers say they use the platform. And that support, again, is a combination. It's a combination of our teams. So we have 24/7 live chat support, email, etc., for the day-to-day requirements that customers have. And so our average response is 13 seconds on a live chat. That's 24/7. So they have a real confidence that if they have a problem, people that actually understand the platform will respond to them. Wow. And at the same time, they have the local account managers in country that are working with them through the local partner relationship. So that's kind of a major differentiator. And what I would say also is we have partners who have built services on top of our platform, and we're actually a sales channel for them, because then they're able to, we have other partners who take up that same service built on the platform. So it's also an opportunity for them as well.
That's a great opportunity, yeah. Awesome. So one last question. So you've been an active Cloud 28 member for some time now. So how have you been leveraging the platform and the community? Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I saw about your spotlight page, so I want to leverage it more now. I'm going to call a marketing lady later. But in terms of that, yeah, I mean, I think it's really good for reaching a targeted audience, a service provider audience, which is our audience. Also, building credibility. So we've made an effort to regularly put content on there regarding our service. So, for example, I mentioned the Saudi Arabian partner. That's a very successful cloud location for us. There's a use case there on Cloud 28 that you can go and read. That's a little plug, by the way. And it explains why they used ours and their experience, etc. So we use it for that. So it's a great way to reach people in this way. And then once you've built up a profile and you've got content, then you can then use it for doing more sort of outbound marketing. So you can actually then do the sort of things that Javier was talking about earlier in terms of campaigns and things like this. And we had a good experience with this. And we've also onboarded some of our service providers to Cloud 28 as well. So we've actually brought people onto the platform as well, because it's useful for them in other areas as well, not just, obviously kind of a cloud service partner, but different partnerships that they want. So we like our partners to be on there as well.
Absolutely. It's an opportunity for them to network with the rest of the ecosystem, but then also to amplify what they're offering as far as services on the CloudSigma powered platform. So
yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.